Good evening. Sorry, I popped in there. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Sports Doctor's End. My name is Earl Rush, and I am the Sports Doctor. I'm here along with the co-host of the show, Larry Abrams. Larry, how are you today?
I'm good, man. How about yourself, sports doctor?
I'm doing good, man. A lot to talk about. I was pretty excited about the last couple of days of basketball. See what you want to think about that. Talk about what you thought about what happened. So, what did you think about what happened to the Celtics against the Knicks?
I think the Celtics blew a couple of games, man. They probably blew maybe like 4 games. They should
Yeah.
have won that series, but they so arrogant and they just were intent on shooting threes.
Uh huh.
And then they played the Knicks in an important game, and the Knicks had their good game. The one game that they needed to beat the Knicks, that they wouldn't have beat the Knicks came out with that game in game 6 and blew them out.
Right.
But other than that, the Celtics, I think they were just so arrogant and just were so insistent upon shooting those threes. They left New York stay in the game about 2 or 3 games.
Okay. All right. Well, I was surprised because I'm going to tell you, I thought the Celtics would probably sweep them. I was totally wrong, and I was really shocked by them losing 20-point leads in the first 2 games. I think they did it in 3 games, didn't it? I don't know what they
Yeah, I
did.
think they did have about 3 games where they had big leads like that. But the first 2 were really horrible.
Yes. Yeah. So I really didn't think that would be happening, but so what it is, what it is. I mean, wow.
How do you think the Knicks and Pacers series is looking?
I think it'll go 7, but I would take the Knicks. I
You take
I,
the Knicks?
I don't. I think either I'm sleeping on the Pacers or they are who I thought they were. They're not that good. But of all the teams that have been playing in the playoffs, they have been playing the best brand of ball.
The Pacers?
The Pacers have, yes.
Yeah, I think they've been playing very well.
Yeah. But I think the Knicks will win. I have so much respect for Big Body Brunson. And I mean, what can you say, man? What can you say? I'm excited about the Knicks Pacers. Plus, they have a history of playing. I think they played each other at least 8 times in the playoffs in the last what? Well, damn,
Oh,
the Knicks ain't been nowhere since what? Uh, 1995 or 1999 or something.
probably since Patrick Ewing has been there. But last year they played a 7 game series, and the Pacers beat them in Game 7 in Madison Square Garden.
Well, the Knicks were hurt though.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking it was a close series then.
Yeah.
And you're right, the Knicks were hurt. So, but I think the Pacers have gotten a little better too. I was kind of surprised that the Pacers are favored, even though I know the Knicks are a higher seed. Um, but I've seen some of the odds, and they all point toward the Knicks, and all the experts are picking the Knicks. But like you said, the Pacers have played very well. I think this is going to be a pretty good series.
Knicks in 6, Larry.
Knicks in 6.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how that one's gonna go. Okay. So, well, what did you think about the Cleveland series? What happened to them, Larry?
And Cleveland played the Pacers.
Yeah.
Pacers, well, Cleveland had a lot of injuries, but I knew that would be a tough series for Cleveland anyway. I think they're still kind of young. They played very well during the regular season, but they couldn't afford to give any games away. And I think the Pacers would have just beat them anyway. Mainly, a big part of it is because Cleveland wasn't healthy. But the Pacers have a good team.
Okay.
And, one thing you notice about all 4 teams that are left, they're all relatively healthy.
Yes, they are. Okay. So in the Eastern Conference, who do you like, the Knicks or the Pacers?
I'm gonna go with the Pacers, man. I think the Pacers
Oh,
right now look like they got a lot going for them.
okay. All right. So it'll be interesting for us because we'll have two different, you know, we both pick different teams. So that's good. All right. The Pacers, huh? Okay. What is it about them you like? Their pace? They like to run up and down?
I think they play very good defense, and they have a lot of guys that can ball, and I think they might wear New York out. Even though I don't think it'll be easy. I mean, I'm looking for a 7-game series, and of course, when you got a 7-game series, it could go either way. But they have a good top to bottom team, and at least with like 8 or 9 players that they can rely on.
Mm-hmm. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think about the Knicks' coach? His style, how he very rarely plays his bits. What do you think about that?
He's playing. Let's see. I think he plays 7 or 8 players. His players seem to be in shape. I don't see them being tired. I hear a lot of people talking about him running them into the ground. They don't look like they're running out of gas. So he plays his best players, and they seem to have the stamina to do it. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I mean, off the bench, I guess he plays. What's the big guy's name? Jackson, McBride, and maybe Precious Achua, and that's probably about it. And Precious doesn't even seem like he plays every game.
Well, I don't like his coaching style. I never liked him as a coach. But he did do one thing by putting that little left-handed reserve, not giving him no time. What's his name?
Are you
Cam?
talking about Cam?
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, I've always thought he got a lot out of every team he coached. I think he's a good coach.
Man, you gotta play your player. You gotta get your best. It's one thing, Barry, if you don't have anybody. He's got people. He just ain't giving them a chance. That's the thing.
Well, he's kind of old. He's kind of old school. You know, most back in just a few years ago, people stuck to about a 7-man rotation, and he's kind of like that. I think recently, in the last couple of years, we started to see teams that are going to 8 or 9-man rotation.
Well,
it's like a matter of styles, but his players don't seem to be tired.
if I'm hearing this and I am him, I'm saying I really don't care what people are saying. It's working. It's working.
Well, that's kind of it.
I mean, so I don't know what I'm complaining about. But
you mentioned something. You mentioned something about Indiana liking to play fast.
Yes,
and a lot of players. So we'll see if he can change on the fly.
He won't. He won't. He never has. Well, you never know. You never say never.
Well, I think he only needs to do it if his players get tired. But I haven't seen them look tired in the playoffs to me. Not with the 7-man rotation. He seems to put everybody for a second.
Man, the Eastern Conference Finals, they have to be doing something right. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
I could complain about how he don't play his players all I want. They winning. Ain't no sense in you having an 11-man rotation and you're not winning. So
that's it. What do you think about Boston going forward? You figured Tatum's going to be out most of next season.
Uh-huh.
Do you think they'll get back, be competitive again next year, even without him?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
First of all, I didn't understand this. One of these questions on one of these shows on TV today. They said, "Can Jaylen Brown be the number one on a championship team?" I thought he was when they won the championship. Wasn't he the number one? Wasn't he number one on the team?
I heard that question. That might have been on Get Up or something, or
I don't know.
no. What's the second show that comes on? First Take. They said, yeah, can he be the number one player on a championship contender?
But wasn't he the number one player when Boston won it?
He was the MVP.
So I don't understand the question.
Yeah, because I think most people generally think that Tatum is their number one player.
He's not though. But
so
you're
what
right.
I really
like that one.
Well, I think he during the playoffs and the semifinals and the finals, Brown won MVP. So I think it's really, I think it's a poorly stated question, and I guess I like the way I stated it. Without Tatum, are they going to be competitive? You know, because and that's the way I think they should have. I mean, I think they're throwing a lot on Brown, because if he's their best player and they can be competitive, then the answer to that other question is yes. I heard that question today too. I didn't like it.
It's just like, wasn't that who he was? Wasn't he that last year? Was he that last year? And now maybe they had put in a game at the end of this statement. Okay, well, he's already done that. He already was the number one player on it.
Yeah, he was MVP. That sort of implies that, doesn't it?
I'm just lost. But, we got a lot to talk about. We don't want to spend too much time on a stupid question that was asked by somebody on TV. So let's move on. Yeah, I think they will be competitive. You know, Brown has more chances to go to work. That's all. They play well with each other, but.
Oh yeah. I think they complement each other well. He's got a torn meniscus, so he's going to have some surgery done. Hopefully, I don't think it's that bad because he kept playing, but he's got to have probably that arthroscopic stuff done or something.
But I'm trying to see how they're going to play it this year. I think they're going to get rid of Porzingis if they can find a sucker team to get him.
Well, he's
a European Anthony Davis, man. That's all he is.
They have a lot of people getting paid. A couple of them are free agents. I think Drew Holiday might be a free agent too. So it might come down to a matter of them not wanting to pay everybody. I think
they're not going to pay everybody. Because
Brown and Tatum are two of the top paid players in the league, and they're tied in. And I think they signed White for a multi-year deal.
That's $650 million right there.
Yeah. Then again, them guys may agree to accept less. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know whether he's hurt or not, but we've been doing the show about 4 or 5 years, and the first 2 or 3 years, I was telling you I'm not a Holiday fan, and you were telling me Holiday's good. He makes you win. He goes the way and you were right. He was playing the way he was proving what you were saying was right, but. He's been slacking this year. I don't know whether he's hurt or not.
He was injured, but I think more than anything else, his contract is up. And they got new ownership, and they're on that second apron, so they're paying that luxury tax.
Man, why is his play going down? Because his contract is going to play shit going
down. No, I think he was hurt this year. He got hurt probably in March or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it then. Has this play been lackluster to you?
Only since he's been injured. He missed a lot of time too. I should say some time, not a lot of time, but he missed some time.
He's gone, man, and Porzingis is gone. Stupid boy forward that blocked 7 shots the other day. He's a free agent. He might go somewhere else. What's his name, Larry?
You're not talking about Jackson, are you?
No,
Nick. Oh, Boston. I'm sorry, in New York. The forward that blocked. Well, I tell you, who's a free agent is Horford. I think he might be a free agent.
Nobody wants Horford. The 7 foot guy was blocking shots. Um, I can't even remember his name.
He comes off the bench.
Yeah, big. That one big tall white boy comes off the bench.
Yeah, I can't think of his name either.
That's how irrelevant he is. But he was playing good the other day though.
We had a couple of good games, yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember his name.
But I know they have contract issues, and they were talking about. I know Holiday was one of them, and I think Orford's another one. That their contracts up, and it might be the last time you see them there. And they have new ownership.
I would imagine Horford probably will retire. He old man.
He's still pretty decent player. Fits in with them. He's always actually been a good serviceable guy. A guy that could do something.
He's always been on my overrated list to me, but he is a service. He is serviceable. I'm not just because I don't like him. I'm not going to take away from his game. He's been more positive on the team that he's been than a negative for sure. But like when he was first coming out in the league, they were talking like he was all this and that. I'm like, I don't know. But he's good though. He's good. He is still.
Lauren is texting me saying Porzingis something. I guess he's going to be gone too. She didn't put it in the chat. She sent me a text that said Porzingis.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's always hurt, man. What can you do, man? Some people just always get hurt. And if you're one of those people, what can you do? You can't do it.
The best ability is availability, right?
That's right.
And one of the things I said a few minutes ago, all the teams left are healthy, and each team has had played against somebody that's gotten hurt.
So, do you think the majority of sports fans thought that Cleveland and Boston would have won instead of New York and Indiana? Or what do you think about that?
I think most people probably thought Boston would have been there. I think Cleveland was kind of like, you got to prove it to us, But I think people thought Boston would be there, and I think people thought Cleveland had a shot. But I think people probably felt very confident of Boston being there.
Okay, so before we go to the West Coast, the Western Conference, did we go over what happened in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Oh, and what did we say?
I just thought Indiana was better than them. Plus, Cleveland had some injuries.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, they did.
I mean, Garland missed the
first. In the last 3 games, though, all the people that were injured played.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. I didn't think they were necessarily 100%, and I think that Indiana was just better than them. I mean, that's the other thing I said. Yeah. When they fell behind 2-0, I thought it would have been very difficult for them to overcome that.
Yeah. All right. Enough about that. Let's talk about the Oklahoma and Minnesota series. Let's talk about what did you think about Denver and Oklahoma, Larry?
Good series. I thought the best team won. I thought I'm a firm believer in the new setup where you have to have 8 or 9 guys that can all play, that can play both ends of the court, offense and defense. Definitely defense and guard the perimeter, as well as hit open shots when you get shots. Oklahoma meets that description to me. Denver is a little more old school, where they figure like they have a big 3 or something like that, and you go for the big 3. Hey, Phyllis, how you doing?
Hey, Phyllis, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in.
But I think Oklahoma City just was better. Denver thought that they could beat them in close games, and it turned out they couldn't. And Oklahoma City was just too fast, and they threw a lot of stuff at them, and Denver didn't adjust to it.
Okay. So let me ask you this, Larry. 'Cause my mind wanders. But it seemed to me like the majority of the time, I mean, it was a team effort. They were ganging up on him. But see, the majority of the time, Caruso was on Jokic. Was that correct?
He was on him in this last game, but the game before that,
Yes, the 7th game. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, game 7, Caruso came in, and that kind of changed things around.
That's what I'm saying. Wow. Jokic, I've never seen Jokic struggle like that. I've never seen him struggle.
I think they kind of wore him down. He only took 9 shots.
What do you mean wore him down? Wore him down how?
Well, I think they were double teaming him from the weak side a lot, and a lot of times they made it very difficult for him to catch the ball while he's fighting Caruso, and they were sneaking up behind him.
But this ain't the first time where people were double teaming Jokic. I mean, Jokic, he was struggling.
Yeah, well, he only took 9 shots, but they were still in the ball to him. He couldn't get position.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Position. He couldn't get position or anything.
I don't know what that was about him taking 9 shots. I have no idea what was going on with that. Huh?
But think about it. They started off with Hardenstein on him. Then they played with tall, skinny guy one time, Ogren one time. Williams had him one game, and now Caruso had him. Hardenstein probably played him the first couple of games.
Right. I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It makes it seem like I'm saying Caruso was effective checking him. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when Caruso was on him the majority of the time.
Right. Well, they were making it difficult to get the ball to him.
But I don't understand how. It's never happened.
I think it was all about his positioning. The other guy, Williams, tried to do that the game before. He wasn't successful. And I think they just tried somebody else to do that.
Right.
But it was all about position, and then they were sneaking up behind him and tipping the ball away. He couldn't catch the ball where he wanted to catch it. Another thing that probably hurt them in game 7 was Gordon couldn't move.
Right. Okay.
And Gordon couldn't run, and they were anytime they tried to do a sprint, Gordon was limping around on one leg, and Joker's slow, and anytime they would get a tap, they were just blowing by them and converting.
I've never seen. Have you ever seen Joker play that way before?
Normally he gets more shots, but early in the he had about 3 or 4 games where he didn't really shoot well. He actually shot 5 for 9. He normally gets more shots than gets to the free throw line. He couldn't get the ball to where he wanted it, and that's what it seemed like. Caruso was going to a spot. I think they have very good scouting, and he was going to a spot and not letting him get the ball where he wanted it.
Man, I don't know what happened. I don't know. But
think of how many passes they stole when they were trying to feed it to him.
Yeah, I've never seen Jokic like that before. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think
whatever they did, it worked.
Yeah, it definitely did. The fact that he only took 9 shots, think about that. Because normally he's going to shoot 20-something times.
Yeah, and I don't know what that was about either. He dominates any and everybody, any and every time he wants to. But he wasn't doing it that day.
He gets away with a lot of pushing and stuff that, it's funny when I don't mind physical play, but don't we call it ticky-tack fouls on him. And they did call a lot of fouls against OKC, but they used their fouls well.
Yeah, they did. They did. Okay, so you researched this, I guess, the other day, or you said it was certainty, like you know this. But do you think it'll happen this series where Anthony Edwards and SGA will check one another.
But they did so the regular season. I don't know what the coaches might use a different strategy here. I don't know. I think that will be interesting. I think that would definitely be interesting. And both of them are pretty decent defensive players, but I don't think either team wants their guy in foul trouble. And Minnesota will use Daniels on SGA, and Oklahoma City will use that guy Tort a lot on Anthony Edwards.
You mean Dort?
Dort, yeah. But you got to watch his playing time because they got Wallace seems to be getting Dort's playing time lately.
Well, Dort can't shoot. That's the problem.
Yeah, he's very streaky.
I don't know what goes through his mind when he starts shooting these threes. What are you doing, Dort? Just.
He has some games when he actually makes them, but he hasn't been connected. I think he had like one decent game in the playoffs so far.
He don't have his percentage of shooting threes cannot be over 35%.
Yeah, no, he hasn't shot well in the playoffs at all. And I think Wallace and Wiggins have shot pretty well, but Dort is a pretty good defensive player.
Yeah, so sometimes you got to stick with your strength. He don't need to be shooting the threes.
Well, they leave him wide open, so I mean that's
it. He can be wide open.
And he hits that corner shot occasionally. He does hit it occasionally. He has not shot well in the playoffs though.
He don't shoot no worse, no better than Westbrook.
I think he's a little better than him.
He's not bad.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I will check that out.
And I would suggest check it out over the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them shot well in the playoffs. I will say that.
So, what do you attribute the very good play of the left-handed dude for Minnesota when they traded
Julius Randle?
Yeah. What do you think about him?
Yeah, he's played very well. He plays. I think he's someone that I think he's always been a decent player, but now he looks like he's kind of even matured a little bit. His judgment looks very, very good this year.
Right.
That was like a trade that really kind of worked out for both teams. And both players I thought were kind of suspect between him and Cat, and they both have played pretty decent for their new teams.
The trade has worked out for both teams. Well, for both teams for sure.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me.
And I haven't even seen the left-handed side come out of Randall. He's been consistent the whole series.
And his judgment is good too. He's not taking bad shots. He's not forcing stuff. I thought with New York he shot a little too much. And maybe that's what they wanted him to do there.
I guess he should have reined himself in. He knew. I think he's been working on his perimeter game. But when he was shooting last year, he knew he shouldn't have been shooting the ball. Stop that.
We got injured last year, wasn't he?
Well, it don't matter whether he was injured or not. Don't be shooting.
I mean, I don't remember him in the playoffs. That's what I'm thinking. And like you said earlier, New York had injuries when Indiana beat them.
So Phillips says, okay, play exceptional defense.
Yeah, I showed that a minute ago in Game 7.
Wow.
She put that up she responded to when you were talking about Joker and you hadn't seen him do anything.
I might need to take a break. Like I'm struggling today. I'm like, it seems like I'm not even here. I don't know. I'm tired of something. I'm stuttering and stalling. And what the heck is wrong with me? Let me pull myself together. Okay. All right. So what are we talking about now?
Let's talk. We need to talk about Minnesota, what they did to Golden State.
It's play basketball. But Golden State didn't have it without Curry. It was
Yeah,
shot.
they didn't have a chance.
And Jimmy Butler ain't playoff Jimmy no more. Or I can't say no more. Jimmy Butler was not playoff Jimmy in the past series. Playoff Jimmy, Golden State might have still had a chance. That's what people were thinking. But we didn't know that playoff Jimmy wasn't going to show up for this series.
The last two games, he only shot a few times in both of those
See,
games.
I don't understand that either. I don't understand
Yeah.
these guys. When you're the man or you're heavily dependent on to produce and you're taking 9 or 10 shots, I don't understand. I just don't understand. I don't understand Jokic. I don't understand. You know,
I think they had a special defense to shut Jokic down. You could tell the double, triple teams were coming. They weren't. Butler just didn't look like he was looking for a shot. They
that's
was,
what
they
they
was,
got.
yeah.
Now, what do you mean special defense? So what? So listen.
They were stealing the ball as they were trying to feed it to him. They knocked the ball away. The entry pass. They knocked the ball away about 4 or 5 times when they tried to feed it to him.
Could have been
Butler had the ball in his hand and he didn't even look for the basket.
So you trying to tell me this guy has been dominating the league, and all of a sudden, for this playoff series, the coach comes up with a special defense to stop him? Can't nobody stop
Talking
him.
about who you talking about? Joker?
Yeah.
They did it for one game. They did it for one game. Butler didn't even look this. He had room and he didn't even look like he was interested in scoring. First, I thought he was trying to get everybody involved.
This is what makes me say that he may not be playoff Jimmy anymore. He just knows he don't have it.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's not like
I was surprised about him.
He's not passive like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm
at a loss. I'm at a loss. I'm like, really? So, and Golden State, they don't have no big man. They don't have a backup point guard. But they have a couple of pieces, though. But, when you don't have a backup point guard, which is an important part of a team, and you don't have a legitimate inside threat, there's problems.
This guy, Jaminga, he actually wasn't getting any playing time. He actually probably is one of their best players.
He played pretty good. Before
the playoffs, he wasn't even getting off the bench. Ever since they got Jimmy Butler, he had been on the bench.
But that's another thing. Over there, I heard someone say Steve Kerr is one of the greatest coaches. I'm not so sure about that. I got a problem with Steve Kerr as a coach. I do.
Well, he inherited a pretty good team, and I think situations like now actually really shows your mettle as a coach when you really don't have that much talent. That's kind of why I like New York's coach. I've seen him do Chicago and New York. He gets the most out of his players. And he's got a little bit more talent than he's had in the past.
Yeah. Well.
So who do you think is going to win this matchup? Oklahoma City or Minnesota?
Oklahoma is they'll win either in 5 or 6. I'm leaning towards 6. It possibly could be 5.
The challenge with them is they don't really have a lot of size. I don't know who's going to deal with Randall for them. That's going to be a problem. But then again, Randall's not going to do any more to them than what Joker could do. So, but they also have Anthony Edwards. It ought to be interesting.
I say 5 or 6, but I'm leaning to 6. And did we discuss the other teams who I thought would win?
Yeah. This is just it. We're down to the last four.
I said the Knicks here. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm looking at the Knicks. Hmm.
So you
Well,
going with the Knicks in Oklahoma City, and I said Indiana and Oklahoma City.
yeah. Yeah. Indiana's not going anywhere. They played the best that they could play. They not. I'm not big on their guards. You think their guards suffice?
Yeah,
I
I think Halliburton's pretty good. I think what's the guy? Gosh, I can't even think of his name. B. Smith or Neesmith.
never hard.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good. I think both. I like the way they play defense, pressure you full court, and if they play, it's gonna be an interesting matchup with New York. I expect them to pressure Brunson the whole court. I think that's gonna be a good.
They can pressure big body all they want. They can't do nothing big body.
But here's the thing. So what happens? You're talking about the coach only playing a few players. That's what kind of wears a team down. Who's New York's backup point guard?
They don't have one. And McBride is a half-ass two guard. So I don't know about that. Brunson, he can handle a little.
Yeah.
He can handle. This guy's good.
Brunson is probably the best player that's playing in this series.
Yes.
But I think they're going to make him work. If I'm Indiana, I'm going to make him work. I like McBride. I think McBride's okay. I don't have a problem. I think he's a rotational player for them for sure.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we're looking at the Knicks and the Pacers and the Wolves in Oklahoma. Okay. Minnesota has a good team. I'm just going with Oklahoma. Minnesota has a good team. I haven't been talking a lot of trash about them, but they have a good team. Your boy Edwards, I was talking about his shooting the three ability, and I said, tell him to stop. Early in the year, you said, nope, just let him keep shooting. You were right about Anthony Edwards because he has been feeling it.
Led the league in 3-point shooting this year.
Wow. You must
No, I
have.
think this ought to be an interesting series, him and SGA going against each other. I'm looking forward to that game tonight.
Knicks is 6. But that's a different conference. We talking about the Western Conference. Okay.
Knicks and 6. OKC, and what did you say? 5 or 6 for them too?
Yeah. Neither series is going 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to tell about Minnesota because they really haven't had when they played Golden State really wasn't at full strength.
Right.
So I'm a little sketchy on them. I can't even remember who they played in the first round. But I'm not going to underestimate them because they do have some size, and that's an advantage they have over Oklahoma City.
Right.
I don't think Gobert is necessarily going to do that well, but I think Hartenstein will play him. They'll probably play pretty equal, but I can't see Holmgren doing much with Randall at all.
Randall's too strong. He's too strong.
Yeah, that's going to be a matchup problem. Now they had that other Jay Williams on their bench, who has savvy, but he's not as athletic as Randall.
To be honest with you, man, Holmgren is a letdown for me. I expect a little bit more. I know he was thin, but I don't have a problem with his size. I got a problem with his heart. I don't know about him.
See, sometimes I think he has too much heart because he gets the ball and tries to go coast to coast, and they steal it from him almost every time. Instead of looking to get the ball up, he thinks he can go coast to coast, and he can't do that.
Right. Okay.
He's just not that strong. I mean, I
Yeah.
think he was hyped a lot. And it would be nice if he was truly their second best player. But I think Jay Williams is his second best player. And if Jay Williams plays well, Oklahoma City's probably going to win this.
Yes. For sure.
He's been very inconsistent too.
Yes. Well, I say Minnesota had a good team. People be sleeping on Nas Reed and Alexander Boy, and they have some good players, man. But Oklahoma will win 5 or 6. But I'm just saying.
And I like Nas Reed for Minnesota too.
Well, he shoots that 3 effortlessly, man.
Yes, very confidently. He comes off like, I know I'm going to hit this.
Wow. Well, it's gonna be good. I'm excited about the game tonight, and yeah. Well, Larry, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I'm good, man. Unless you want to talk about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
So what is it to talk about?
Did you see the incident, quote unquote incident?
They were a hard foul. What is the problem? It was a hard foul. That's all.
I think it's just. I didn't even think it was all that hard. I thought it was a good foul to keep somebody from making a layup.
Well, I don't know why. What is all the hubbub about?
Because of the people involved.
Yeah, what was Reese upset about?
Well, I mean, she might. You see players sometimes they take exception to certain fouls, but I even think that's
all she did was hit on the wrist, Larry.
No, but I've seen people. Let's not talk about those two. Haven't you seen other players get upset when someone's fouled them?
If you foul me crazy, yeah.
No, but I mean, I've seen some people get upset with fouls that really weren't that hard. And I think if it wasn't those two people, I don't think it would have been an incident. I've seen people get fouled and then they started like they want to fight each other.
After she fouled her, she charged her. There was no reason in the world for her to charge Caitlin.
I agree. I think she did overreact. But like I'm saying, I've seen other people do that. I've seen other people do that, and a big deal wasn't made out of it. I think the only thing a big deal was made because of the two people that were involved.
I think she was embarrassed because she slipped and fell. That's what. So that pat on the wrist knocked her down.
She had pushed one of the Fever to get the rebound, and I saw Caitlin Clark point to it, and the ref didn't call it, so she went on in there and fouled her.
Okay.
But I've seen people overreact to fouls. Is my point. This is a friend of mine named Tony. Thanks for tuning in, Tony.
Yeah, Tony, what's up, man? Wasn't playoff Jimmy because of that tailbone injury he suffered early in the playoffs. Okay. He missed a game or two and was never the same when he returned. Now, that's an educated answer.
I told you he's a friend of mine, man.
You got some friends that aren't that knowledgeable, though, Larry.
You know those friends. Those are the ones we both know.
Yeah. Everybody can't be right all the time. Okay. Thank you for tuning in, Tony. Nice.
Yeah.
I thought everybody had fell asleep by now. That's good. I mean, he might have just came in.
He hit me with a text, and I asked him, it was a lot for me to try to read, so I asked him, could he tune in and put it in the comment section.
Yeah. I like that.
So I'll start
saying about that, see? Some kind of sports doctor I am. I should have known what Tony said. I should have known that. I didn't even think about the injury.
Well, you're hard.
I tell
you're a hard dude, man. All my life I've known you. You don't cut anybody any slack. You used to give me grace when we played ball, and I still appreciate that. But you used to treat other people rough, man.
You silly, man. Get out. You crazy. Are we done for the day, Larry? Are we gonna talk?
We're done, man.
Did you see? Did you see the golf tournament this weekend? No.
I'm not really a big follower. I know the guy Scheffler won or something. Right. But no, I didn't watch it.
All right.
I watched some baseball. I watched it. So the Yankees and Mets played a couple of games, and fans in New York were mad at my boy Soto.
Right.
Matter of fact, the Mets were mad with him because he hit the ball one time. He didn't run hard. They thought.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
He got the big contract. He got the big contract now. So
did they get swept?
Yeah, the Yankees won.
Did the 49ers make a mistake by giving Brock Purdy that extension and 181 million guaranteed? Totaled out to be 265 for 5 years.
Well, I always tell you I could care less how much people make. So if the question is really boiling down to should they have re-signed him, I think he earned it. I think he's earned a job there. So I think they needed to do what it would take to pay him.
Wow.
Unless you're ready to move on with another quarterback. And think about last year, I thought he played pretty well. Deebo Samuels was hurt a lot. McCaffrey was hurt a lot. Brendan Ayuk was hurt a lot. And I thought he played okay with a lot of injuries.
Well, how well could he have played in any game to the playoffs?
Well, I just named his big three weapons being out there. But you look at his stats, he did pretty well. And he did well when those guys were healthy.
He is a product of having talented, healthy people around him. If he doesn't have talented, healthy people around him, just like anybody else who doesn't, they're not going to be that good.
So the bottom line is, would you have wanted him on your team? I mean, you got him for a bargain. He was Mr. Irrelevant.
I want him on my team, but I'm not giving him that kind of money. You kidding me?
What if it takes that type of money to get him now? I mean, he's getting paid with a quarterback.
If it takes that kind of money to get him, I have to draft somebody or get somebody on out of the market. Call somebody.
So you don't think that much of him? I think that's what it boils down to. I
always thought that he had a lot of talent around him, Larry. He had a lot of talent. And the only reason why he was that successful was because of the talent that he had around him. That's all.
So, but the bottom line, it just boils down. They had him good on the cheapest of rookie contracts because he was Mr. Irrelevant. He certainly outplayed his contracts in the past. So now, if you have to make the decision, do you want him on your team or are you going to go someplace else? Don't you think he's a legitimate starter in the league?
Yes. Yes.
Is he in the top half of quarterbacks?
The top 16?
Yeah.
He's in the top 16, yes.
So he's making, he's not the top paid quarterback. He's making a salary probably commensurate to that.
Yeah, he's making $53 million a year.
That's what quarterbacks make now. Think about it.
Not all of them. Not all of them. Some people are drawing the line. Some of these general managers say, I'm not paying this clown this kind of money. Are you serious? $53 million for Brock Purdy.
Again, to me, it just matters.
Have you ever seen Brock Purdy scramble for with 15 yards?
No, he's not a running quarterback. Definitely not that.
Throw the ball. I understand. I got that. But just you have a little diversity in your game, your skills. I'm paying you $53 million. Can't you run for a first down? If the offensive line breaks down, can you do something? He can't do nothing. And I'm not saying don't pay him $53 million because he's not a running quarterback. That's not what I'm saying, even though it may sound like that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. This guy's not a $53.5 million quarterback a year. He's just not.
So what would you pay him?
40.
I'm looking at his stats. Completion percentage was almost 66%. It was down. It was higher the year before. 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He had 30 the year before. So his stats did drop. But again, he had a lot of, both his receivers and running back were hurt. So I think that would impact anybody. So when they were there, he played a little better 2022 and 2023.
See, my situation is this: they
So,
they don't
well,
have a they don't
I
have a lot of
think
draft picks. They don't have any money. They can't. It's hard for them to add players to the team. They don't have anybody like that. They don't have anybody to play with Brock Purdy. You can stop that wide receiver they got. Stop that.
talking about Ayuk.
Stop that.
They let Debo Samuels go. The guy that got to stay healthy for him is McCaffrey, and
That's
he's been
not
hurt the
going to
last
happen.
couple of weeks.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He's a running back, Anthony Davis type. Always hurt. He's always getting hurt. Can't go by that. This guy's getting older too. He's always hurt. Now it's a possibility he can be healthy this next 5 years. It's always a possibility, but all right, what's Phyllis talking about?
She's proud. She's proud of her South Carolina basketball players, I guess.
Well, Phyllis, if you're happy, I'm definitely happy. Even though I wasn't happy with Asia's performance the other day. And the New York team ran them off the court. No? Phyllis, are you there? What happened to New York running Asia Wilson team, Las Vegas team off the court?
New York has a decent team.
Didn't they win it all? Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't run Asia Wilson team off the court, man.
That's probably who they beat.
They lost Plum too. Plum the player.
Yeah, Kelsey Plum is. Yeah, she switched teams.
Yeah.
I got the Washington Mystics at 2-0. They're supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league, and they're 2-0.
The Mystics won that game the other day?
Yep. Because Connecticut, when they were down by 15 points, they came back and won.
Yeah. Well, I know the Mystics had a really good draft this year.
One of their players got hurt, though. Yeah, they had three picks, and one of them tore her leg up. But the other two played well on Sunday. Yeah. And the other lady they have called Sykes was pretty good.
Well, I was trying to watch it because I wanted to see these draft picks. But when they was down by 15, I said, let me go outside and do something. Watch these losers. And they came back and won the game. The Caps did what I expected them to do. They didn't advance, but it's a DC team, so what do you want? What do you expect?
Caps won a championship not too long ago.
Okay, Phyllis, you're talking about her business acumen. That's great.
Yeah, I don't know if she has business acumen. Nike's using her pretty
well. I just want to ask Phyllis what happened to New York running Las Vegas off the court. Yeah. I just like to get an answer to the question. I didn't ask you what you're talking about.
She thought this was a business acumen show or something like that.
I don't have anything to do with why I live in the court. Business acumen or not, Phyllis. Okay. Anyway. All right, Larry. Well, it was great. You chimed in today because it wouldn't be a show without you. You have to have somebody with some knowledge and who's reasonable on the show. So.
Well, when we have the sports doctor here, we all automatically have that.
Yeah, but
I'll have to reach out to Tony to see if he wants to come on sometime. I don't know whether he's camera shy or not. He used to work for BET, so I'll see if he'll do that because he's definitely pretty opinionated. And he and I send each other texts about
sports. Yeah. Get him to come on the show. That'd be great.
I'll definitely reach out to him.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Thank you, Phyllis. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Phyllis. Guess I'm not going to get an answer. All right. So, with that in mind.
That was a rhetorical question, man,
Okay. All right, Larry.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. We'll see you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock on the Sports Doctor's In.
All right. Good job.